good point. So, what does it mean for people that don't have access to banks until now? Because we know that in third world countries, a lot of people don't have bank accounts. They don't have access to the current banking system.
Yes.
Could Bitcoin be a solution for that?
I would argue it not only could, it already is in countries. You know, we know of countries in Afghanistan or other countries, particularly women, where they don't have these rights, you know, because they don't even have an identity for themselves, because everything is intermediate by the husband, you know, so they always have to go through the husband to do anything of value and create something.
Bitcoin helps women.
And if you, yeah, I mean, in the sense it does, because I've read these stories, and I've never been to Afghanistan, so I can't really prove, or haven't proved it myself, you know. But at least that's what I've been hearing, you know, that then you can, as a woman, you can just go up to you can have, if you have a smartphone, you know, you don't need any bank or something. You can just create a digital wallet. You can then download some bitcoins, or you can ask somebody else, can you send me some, you know. And once you got these bitcoins, you're in the system. You haven't done any KYC, nobody knows that you have this account, not even your husband, and you can start to be part of an economy, and then you have an asset that has value, and you can really start to build on this, you know. And I think that's a potential of the blockchain as well. Oh, something just fell down.
You're throwing around my stuff. You want to play with it?
Yeah, but that's I think that's empowering, you know.
Yeah, amazing that Bitcoin helps women. This is a topic that we like to hear about, and empowers them and give them access to the economy. But there is also a lot of people that say that Bitcoin is only there for criminals trying to do illegal stuff. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can't neglect this, you know, because that's exactly the fact of Bitcoin, because it is open to everyone, to women, to men, to criminals. It can also be used by criminals, you know, and that's the problem with every technology which is neutral and which is open, you know.
Yeah.
That you can, everyone can use it, and it can obviously be used for criminal acts, and it has been, and it still is, you know. So even Bitcoin is no panacea in that sense, you know. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that doesn't degrade the technology itself, you know, because if we really strive towards the goal that we want to make it into a thing that is mainly used by people for good acts, you know, we can influence it ourselves, you know. And I mean, the community itself is trying to really build the technology in a way that it is, it gets ever harder for criminals to use, you know, because one interesting thing is that people often confuse Bitcoin in the sense that they say it's anonymous, you know, nobody knows what you own. But actually that's not true. If you look at it, it's pseudonymous, you know. And what that means is that maybe your name is not tied to your address, but still, once it is, because you have revealed your real identity, it can be tied to an address, you know. And from there, you can take a look at the public ledger, where all the transactions and all the accounts are, which is the blockchain, exactly. Yeah. And this can be looked at by everyone in the internet, you know, and then you can start connecting the dots, you know. So it's interesting that, for example, with like in these dark markets that you usually hear about, you know, where people do this dark and nasty stuff, you know, the darknet, exactly, you know. There you were able to take down some criminal activities because of Bitcoin, because the people weren't careful enough. Hopefully, that was great for them, luckily, exactly, you know. So like criminal investigators could then try to connect the dots, and finally it could be led to these people, you know, because of these transactions. Hello. Yeah. And that was really interesting, you know.
Yeah, that is.
So also in that respect, Bitcoin could be a boon, you know. It could be great that we have something where we can track
because once
what criminals do.
Data is in the blockchain, it's there forever. No one can change it. They can't go back and try to delete it, amend it, or say I made a mistake, I have to fix it.
Yes, exactly, because of its decentralization. Data is just there, and you won't be able to change it. And you better be careful what you do with the blockchain, because it's kind of like carved in stone, you know. I mean, people now joke that maybe in the future we won't have the saying anymore, it's carved in stone, but it's written into the blockchain, you know, which is kind of like the same, you know, in the digital world.
Awesome, yes. Thank you for these explanations. I do have now a couple of questions from followers, and 3 questions that we're going to ask you.
Yes.
One is, who is Satoshi Nakamoto, and who do you think he is? Maybe you need to explain a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Well, Satoshi Nakamoto, he's the founder, or like the people, or the person who's behind Bitcoin, you know, the person who in 2009, I think it was, actually downloaded this white paper to the internet where Bitcoin was explained, you know. So he kind of like is the founder of Bitcoin, if you will. But he was anonymous or pseudonymous, you know. Nobody really knew who he is. He never revealed his real identity, you know, and he was in contact with early Bitcoiners, and he communicated with them via email, you know, and on forum posts and stuff, and like a couple of years later he just disappeared, you know. He wasn't there anymore.
No one heard from him.
No one heard of him anymore. He didn't communicate anymore, so people just said, okay, now he has given it to the community, and we are the guardians now who keep that thing going, you know. So we still don't know today who Satoshi Nakamoto is. There are these people, you know, who have these conspiracy theories, you know, that it might be the NSA or the Russians or the Chinese, or the same with COVID and with all these theories, you know. But I mean, I personally, I think it's probably not one person. I mean, there are speculations it could be just one person, but I think it could potentially be a group, you know, a group of people, maybe a group or people who were really part of this early movement when it comes to like digital money, cryptography, like a libertarian thinking as well, you know. You want to kind of be free, you have your own stuff which is decentralized, and there you can tie it to probably a couple of people, because I just think something which is so huge as Bitcoin, you know, and which was so revolutionary, I cannot think there's a chance that one person can just come up with that, you know.
I can't imagine that either. Yeah.
I think it was probably a group of many people who came up with that idea. So, but maybe we will never know. But I think it's not important that we know, you know, because Bitcoin is here.
Even if it was someone that, like the NSA, it doesn't matter anymore, because they wouldn't have the power.
Yeah, it's too big already.